It's never too late to be what you might have been. Remember, it always seems impossible until it's done. If opportunity doesn't knock, then build a door. Rock stars, this is episode 20 of Stuck on Sawdust. Rock stars, welcome to the shop. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Daniel with Bearded Viking Woodworks. In today's video, we're going to be going over some badass woodworking projects that, one, don't require you to be a master craftsman to make, two, don't require you to have $40,000 or $50,000 worth of tools to make, and three, that will pack a big ass profit for you. So you know what time it is. The first project I want to go over is this badass, I don't know what to call this thing. Maybe wall decor. That seems about right. It's basically just a bunch of pieces of 4x4 cut down to about 3/8 inches thick. I would rather have it 3/8 thick on the majority of them and then raise a couple of them up about a 1/2 inch, maybe 5/8 of an inch, and then set some numbers on your piece for an address sign on your front porch or on your front door even. And I think that would be a really cool looking design for your front door and your front porch decor. I've seen these things going anywhere from $30 upwards of $100 depending on the size and the design of it. And basically you just take a backer board, maybe a 1/2 inch piece of birch plywood or even some pine plywood, and you just take your pieces that you cut out of a 4x4 and just glue them down in a pattern that is to your desire or to your liking. And then once that glue dries, just take a jigsaw or a bandsaw and cut out that pattern, and boom, you've got yourself a piece of badass wall decor or a badass address sign. And I'm definitely looking forward to making a shit ton of these in the near future. This one is 30 inches tall and at its widest point is about 12.5 inches wide. I would definitely switch this up. I like the look of this one, but I would switch it up just a little bit. So this project definitely gets 2 thumbs up in my shop. 1, because it's simple to make. 2, it doesn't require a lot of money to make it. And 3, people are going crazy for wall decor right now and will sell pretty quick. As far as material cost, I calculate this at about $12 for the material, for the hanging hardware, and for the paint or finish, whichever you would want to use. So $12 total. Shipping costs, I got that calculated at $10, and that's with entering a zip code that is all the way on the other side of the country. So not a bad bang for the buck, and can produce a shit ton of profit at the same time. Now, as far as packaging this item, depending on the design you go with, you could be looking at a weird shaped box. How I package things is I'll find a box that fits it just right, and then I'll add in a bunch of bubble wrap and make sure I fill every single void in the box. I also look for certain shipping sites that make custom boxes for shipping, and you can just search in Google funny shaped boxes for shipping and it'll literally take you to hundreds of sites that do this. So that's how I would get it packaged up. Now let's head over to our table saw and I'll show you how I would get this thing built. For our demonstration pieces, I've got a piece of walnut ripped down already at 1.5 inches by 1.25 inches. And I've got a piece of pine right here at 1.5 inches by 1.75 inches. And we'll just use these 2 pieces and I'll cut a bunch of them down at 3/8 of an inch thick, and I'll demonstrate gluing them to your backer and then cutting out the shape that you apply. So I've got a stop block set up right here at about 3/8 of an inch. And I'm just going to cut a few pieces of each of my stock. Make sure you let your saw stop before releasing it each time. Okay, so we're just going to play around with some designs. I'll try and get it as close to the one that I saw online, just for the hell of it. But we'll just take some glue and add some glue to the backs of each piece. rub your piece in where you glue it at. And see, I can lift this whole piece up just by grabbing the walnut. It's called a rub joint. Now what we'll do is just add a little bit of weight to it. And we'll come back and check on this in about an hour. All right, guys, so we're all dried up and we're gonna try out this scroll saw I got from a friend of mine. It is a little bit rusty and I'm hoping it'll do the job we need it to do. No promises. That is pretty damn cool. Whoa, 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 whoa. Before y'all go bashing me, this is just a demonstration piece, okay? So I think it turned out pretty damn good. I would obviously use 1/2-inch plywood instead of 3/4, or maybe even a piece of pine. That way you don't have to worry about any edge banding. But I just basically sanded it down and I painted the edges black. And I just went with what I had on hand. You don't have to go with walnut and pine. You can just do pine. Obviously, these are smaller pieces, so I would definitely use the 4x4 pieces that are 3.5 by 3.5. And I think this project is definitely worth looking at making. It's super simple, and you can do this all sorts of ways. You don't have to do it my way. I'm just giving you some options to make a little bit of profit. Let's move on. So this next project is another piece of wall decor. And the reason I'm focusing on wall decor for this episode is because they're hot sellers right now. People are buying this stuff like crazy. So let's turn our attention to this chevron wall decor. It's basically just 3 pieces and they pocket screwed it together from the back and they gave it this chevron look with the angles that they cut their 2 pieces at, putting it together. What I like about this project is they're paintable or stainable. You can cover stain it. You can leave it natural and just put a shellac finish on it if you got some nice rustic weathered wood. Perfect for pallet wood. You can easily build this out of a single fence picket, all 3 of these out of 1. And the cost to build this is next to nothing. I've got this calculated at materials and finish, $7 worth. They've got this one marked at $36, and I've seen these things go anywhere from 30 upwards of 70, and I'm just like, okay, let me in on that gig. I can make a shit ton of these. I can pump these out real quick with my pocket hole jig and make a big ass profit in a short amount of time. Each one of these chevron pieces is about 11 inches tall and 12.5 inches in width total. So they're cut to about 9 inches long point of a 45 to short point of a 45, and then they're pocket holed together, giving it the chevron look. So let's head over to our table saw and I'll show you how to get this put together. So for this demonstration, I'm just going to be using some birch plywood I have left over. I would take and make this out of maybe some walnut and maple, and you could even laminate a few pieces together and have a matching chevron shape like that. But just for the demonstration, I'm going to use some 3/4 inch birch plywood. That way I can show you how to assemble this thing with some pocket hole screws. So I'm going to rip mine down to 3.5, as the one I saw online is made out of 1x4. And you can make this out of fence pickets as well, and pallet wood. This project is so diverse, I absolutely love it. For now, we're just going to go with some 3/4 inch plywood, ripped down to 3.5. Now let's head over to our miter box. So over here at the miter box, we want to turn our miter to a 45-degree angle. and make a cut on the edge of this board. Now from our long point, we want to pull over 9 inches. Make that mark, and that will be your short point. Now I'm going to get a stop block set up. It just helps so much with making repetitive cuts. Once you get your stop block set up, just go ahead and make the rest of your cuts. Alright, so for our Craig jig, we're using 3/4 inch birch, and they've got these numbers on the actual drill bit, and here's 3/4. So you want to line this hole up right here with this 3/4 inch circle. So we'll loosen that up, and then once we get it around that 3/4 inch mark, we'll tighten it back up. And with our actual bit holder, it has some numbers right here. We got 1/2 inch, 3/4, and 1.5 inches. You want to move these down to 3/4 of an inch, and they'll snap right in place. Now just take your bit and get your drill bit set in your drill. Grab yourself a clamp. It doesn't have to be one of these Craig clamps. It can be a normal clamp. Get it set to the correct thickness. Now you want to line up your holes with the center of your piece. So this looks good right here. So we'll go ahead and drill out 2 of these holes. And basically you just set your drill bit inside the hole, squeeze the trigger, and let it bottom out on your bearing right here. Just like so. And your holes should look like this. Now, just take your 2 pieces, line them up together. Make sure you have another clamp nearby. Get your pieces aligned, and then clamp them down tight. Just like so. I'm going to be using some 1.5 inch pocket screws. Once you get your screws in, pop your clamp off, and you're good to go. Voila. So we're going to go ahead and do these next 2 real quick. Voila. Wow, rock stars, talk about having fun. This herringbone, Jesus God. This chevron wall decor is super easy to make, and you can do all kind of designs. They don't even have to be chevron. The Craig jig comes in handy for the pocket holes, and I would definitely recommend purchasing one. And I'll leave a link in the description where I got mine at for a damn good price. But definitely consider making some of these chevron wall decor pieces, because I'm here to tell you, I've seen them online flying out of there. I mean, just look at how many people have viewed this in the last 24 hours. That's pretty good. And if you look online, on Etsy anyways, you can see how many people have purchased them in the last 24 hours and how many people have it in their cart, and wall decor is going like hotcakes. I'm not kidding. So definitely think about making some of these badass chevron shapes. As far as the shipping for these things, I calculate it at $4, and that's standard shipping, sending it all the way over to the west coast of the USA. That, my friends, leaves you a big ass profit margin that is right up my alley, and I'm sure is straight up your alley. As far as the mounting hardware, what I recommend using are these aluminum French cleats. And you can find these online. I'll leave a link in the description, and they're not expensive at all. And I highly recommend them for these types of projects. They're simple to install and dummy proof. Now, for my members and my watchers and subscribers that sell online, especially on Etsy, keep in mind, Etsy will charge you a publishing fee, which is 20 cents for every 4 months that you publish that item, as well as a sales fee, anywhere from 3.5 to 6.5%. Etsy will be charging you when you make a sale. So keep that in mind when pricing your items. Now, before we go, I want to share one of my members' projects. One of my members recently reached out and emailed me and was telling me that he was happy to be a part of the community and become a member, and was happy to support the channel, which I'm so grateful for. This guy's name is Eric. I'm not sure where he's from, but I know he is not located in the US, I don't believe. I could be wrong. His handle for YouTube is at DRWAL. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but he said it stands for lumberjack. Not sure how true that is, but I believe him. But it's at DRWAL_1984. And that stands for lumberjack. So he made this badass simple lamp, is what he called it. Yeah, it may be simple. However, I actually really like this freaking lamp. It's modern yet contemporary and rustic all at the same time. Not easy to do. And I'm thinking about making this project in the future with my own little spin on it. So Eric, good job, brother, and keep up the good work. No more IKEA furniture for you.